What if you know your turnaround time sucks, for instance, in his case, like you know where your problems are? Do you still need the NPS? Our clients have continued to put up with this since the start of the pandemic. I'm afraid to ask. And I think there's two questions there, really. If you know what the problems are, is there anything to be gained from asking your clients? I guess, Jamie, is the first question. And the other one is, what if you're too scared to get bad feedback, which is a great one as well. Have you got any words of wisdom on that one?
Yeah, just seek the facts. You want to know the truth, and it mightn't be as bad as you think. If I was Stephen, I would definitely still set up the NPS and, look at the facts, look at what your score is. And it might be worse than you think. It might be the other way, but you want to measure so you can manage and take the right approach. When we generalize, it's probably the wrong thing to do. Like, it mightn't be to say that, everyone's really upset with how I run my firm. It might be just a generalization. So definitely still ask and set it up. That's the point. Then you can go to work with your team to try and fix the NPS. So Ed touched on so many positive things, but the NPS started about 20 years ago. And there's a couple of really great Harvard University articles written on how it can increase profitability, and also evidence that it'll help the firm grow as well if you get a consistent net promoter score, particularly with your clients. So it's often sort of from 5, I think, to 25 times harder to find a new client than keep one. So if you can help keep the clients, and as Ed said, problems in any business happen. It doesn't matter what business you are. Yeah. And research has found that's how you respond to the problem. So yeah, I'd definitely still ask.
Thanks for that, Jamie.
I'll just add to what Jamie just said. If your clients are not happy about something, then the fact that you ask them makes them feel better. Okay, they may not be getting it off their chest, so letting them get it off their chest. And then from your point of view, then you can actually focus on what to concentrate on the next year. So if you had half a dozen clients complain about the turnaround time, and then surprisingly you find the others didn't complain, then you can put the ones that complain further up on your production, your scheduling, and you can address it. If you know what the problems are, you can get the whole team focusing on fixing it. But if you certainly don't know, then there's not even a chance of even fixing it. Just putting your head in the sand doesn't fix anything. You just got to ask, and the clients will be happier that you ask them. From our point of view, we don't like complaints, so we try to hide away from complaints. But there's a saying that it's better to ask for permission than to ask for forgiveness, and asking and addressing it up front will raise your standards a bit higher, because you're putting yourself on a footing where you can focus on the particular problems that are occurring. And generally with clients, even if you're turning around really quickly, if you don't manage their expectations, so clients that come in, if you don't explain to them, for example, that's why we have a acknowledgement letter explaining turnaround times and how we work, then if you don't say anything to them and you don't educate them, then when clients drop their work off, they have different expectations. Some might expect it to turn around in 2 days. We take 6 weeks to turn ours around, but we tell the clients up front, if you need it quicker than that, we can move you to the front of the queue. However, most clients are happy with our 6 weeks turnaround, but if the client expected 8 weeks turnaround and you did it in 6 weeks, they'll think you've given fantastic service. The person who thinks 2 days to turn it around, they'll think you've given poor service. That's if you don't say anything to them and you don't manage their expectations. But our letters that are going out are managing their expectations. So that's part of the reason why we have great NPS scores, is because we are managing their expectations and they don't drop the work off and think it's going to get done in 2 days. Apart from the fact that we should be scheduling the work and letting them know and talking to them about when they bring their work in and what the expected turnaround time is. The thing is, if you say to someone to bring their work in September, and your admin team is working with them to make sure that they're meeting that deadline and then they're getting all their missing information together, then by the time it comes in, you can turn that around in a couple of weeks. If all the missing information is there and you don't have 40 or 50 clients sitting on your books waiting for the work to get done, you're spreading it, you're taking control of the workload and sort of sitting there and reacting to the workload as it comes in. And that's going to help with the turnaround times as well. So it all starts with scheduling, and then like we've just jumped to the end with the NPS scores, but if you're doing everything properly, you should be able to not have all the work in at the same time, which then causes the delay, but you'd be able to spread it out over the next 12 months, in which case you can turn around in 2 or 3 weeks. And I think Jamie turns it around in 2 weeks. Is that right, Jamie? Your work?
More like 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
But it is about managing your client's expectations.
Yeah. No, that's really great, Ed. Really, really great points. I couldn't agree more that it's part of the psychology of making the clients feel like you're listening to them and giving them a systematized way of doing that. What software is effective for North America? And there's so many NPSs out there because it's quite a simple thing. And I got paralysis by analysis. And one of the things holding me back from implementing it was I was trying to figure out which is the best one. And I think Jamie might have said, just go for it, Tim. Like they're all pretty good. Just get in there. I used Office Vibe for staff. That's an American company. So I think I pay USD for that. So that would definitely be adequate. And I think a few of us use Checkmarket by Medallia for the clients. Yeah, Jamie's just linked that one in there. And you could use Checkmarket, I think, for staff as well, if you're clever about it, because you can create templates in there and it'd probably be more cost effective than using both. But use both. Yeah, so you can definitely do that. And they're American-based software, so that you'd have no problems with those. When do you send out the Net Promoter Scores if you're a bookkeeping firm? And I mean, it's easy enough for accounting tax firms because we send it out once we file their tax return for the year, so once a year. But in a bookkeeping only firm, Jamie, when would be the ideal time to send out an NPS, do you think?
Yeah, so we have a lot of bookkeeping as well, Sky. So with our just pure bookkeeping clients, we'd send out once every 6 months. So your timing, you don't want to sort of flood people with their inbox like every month with their score because a small percentage of people have answered it. But yeah, you've got to just work out what's right for you. Over the years with the bookkeeping, we'd send it out once every 6 months because the touch point with bookkeeping is quite constant. You've got your larger firms that will get their bookkeeping done daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. So yeah, just pick your timing right. That's one thing. When you introduce it, I think Jackie had on there, like, how do you go about introducing it? We've probably done it probably about 8 years now. I think the very first time we introduced it, we just sent an email out to all our clients and just said, look, we're introducing a new feedback system and welcome your thoughts. And yeah, we just basically sent an email out, Tim, to tell people that we're using a feedback system to monitor our service levels. And it was well received. So yeah, over the years, done it for years now. But once you do, which you'll probably talk about, Tim, but occasionally, you will get a bad score. And then it's important to know how to handle that.
On that note, it's worse to send out a Net Promoter Score to a client and then not respond to a bad score than not to send it out at all. So make sure you're ready to have the infrastructure in place for you to deal with those. We have a return the same day policy, return a call, email the same day. And I treat an NPS score as like an email or any other form of communication. So and it doesn't happen that often, but every now and then we'll get sub 6 and my client managers will get the email that day from my admin team and they'll pick up the phone and call the client within an hour. The clients are always shocked that we're dealing with it that quickly. And so far we've managed to turn every single one of those around. I think purely because we've dealt with it so quickly and we have actually dealt with whatever they were upset about. So I couldn't stress that enough. Make sure that you are responsive. There's one firm I know who there was like a month and a half worth of messages in the net from the clients. They didn't realize the clients were sending them the messages. I had a heart attack on their behalf. I was like, and ironically, the critique was not good at communication, which was kind of reinforced by the way the NPS was handled. Kind of funny, but kind of terrifying. So make sure that you have one person in the firm who's responsible for managing the NPS software. I have my admin assistant doing it. Make sure otherwise, especially because it's not urgent and important, it'll just go by the wayside, which is terrible.